Welcome to Plead the Facts, presented by KI Legal. On today's episode, Steven Siegler, partner at KI Legal, is joined by Matthew Zwiren, senior associate at KI Legal, to discuss how KI Legal's labor and employment and real estate practice areas intersect.
Today we have a very interesting fellow. He's one of our star attorneys. Don't let that go to your head. His name is Matthew Zwiren, and he's really done a fantastic job for us and a fantastic job for our clients. My name is Steve Siegler. I'm in the litigation department, and we're going to talk a little bit about the different departments of KI. I practice in employment law. Matt, what do you do?
So, Stephen, firstly, thank you for that incredible introduction. I don't know if I'll be able to get out the door now with how big my head is, but we'll see what happens when the time comes for that. I'm in the real estate and transactions division. I handle all sorts of transactions that you can think of, corporate transactions, real estate transactions over various different ranges of investment categories and asset classes, whether it be commercial real estate, multifamily investments, or your average residential home purchase. We've helped numerous first-time and seasoned home buyers get into new homes, especially during the last couple of years when there was a bit of a real estate boom occurring, especially in the tri-state area where we're located, New York being the real estate capital of the world. And so, my practice ranges various different activities, but do tend to focus on real estate transactions specifically.
Gotcha. So, as you can see from the two of us sitting here, we represent two different branches of the firm. My division and my team, along with my partners, Ralph Prady, Andreas Gutsoudakis, who you've met, we all focus on the litigation end of business. Unfortunately, sometimes businesses are sued or businesses need to sue. We handle employment, we handle litigation, we handle, we handle business divorces and things of that nature. And we also have an active bankruptcy practice. But you can see we also do the other side of the coin with transactions. So we're going to talk a little bit about how those two divisions work together. And it's really, the firm is really designed for them to work together.
It really does go hand in hand, especially, being in New York, focusing on a New York State practice, but, with an eye towards, national transactions, you do need to have a well-rounded and full-service law firm. And that's something here at KI Legal that we pride ourselves on, and being able to handle a vast array of matters that come in the door, more or less anything off the street that comes in, we can handle it appropriately and competently. And it's something that provides our clients an immense amount of value that you usually only find in the biggest firms throughout the country, your AmLaw 100 firms, for an incredibly high price tag. And it really is something that Andreas, as you mentioned, and Michael, our co-founding partners, have developed is a excellent, well-rounded practice that provides the benefits of your big national law firm, but without banging you over the head with bills that come in this thick and for hundreds of thousands of dollars. We can achieve the same level of service and the same incredible legal work, and sometimes better, because we're able to provide that individualized attention for each of the clients who come in the door, and that we're not too big, we're not too small. And we're that Goldilocks of law firms. We're just right. We can provide the services that all of our clients need and do it in an efficient, cost-effective, and time-sensitive manner. So it really is the full-service firm without needing to go to the white shoe law firm.
That's right. So our target market tends to be businesses on the smaller side who maybe can't afford the big guys, but their needs are just as critical as other big businesses' needs. They have the same wants and desires. They want to grow. They want to do numerous things. So this firm, like you said, sits in that sweet spot where smaller businesses we can handle and do handle daily, very adeptly. We obviously welcome big clients too, but huge companies are going to go to huge law firms. We're offering the same level of service, and like you said, maybe even more, because we're on first name basis with our clients. You're not just a number, you're not just a matter, one out of 1,000 matters. Our roster of clients is very happy with us, and we're in constant communication with them to make sure we're giving them the best bang for their buck. We want to give our clients value.
Definitely. And at the big firms, unless you are a headlining client, getting FaceTime with a partner is near impossible.
Yeah.
Whereas at KI, pick up the phone and call the partner handling your matter, and get them on, speak with them, get the information that you need, get it quickly, get it efficiently, and go on about the rest of your day. We know that business owners really only want to deal with law firms tangentially and really want to deal with law firms only when they necessarily need to. They
Right.
want the work to get done in the background. They want it to be a anticipating needs scenario where we have the ability to know what our clients need in the future, to bother them minimally while providing them all the information that they need, but being able to handle matters competently, efficiently, and cost effectively, and providing them that big firm service, like I said, without the big firm price tag and with that personalized touch that we're able to do because we aren't a giant conglomerate with all the bureaucratic red tape and
Right.
you got to speak to the billing department on this and this department on that. And you can't get an attorney on the phone. And I know for a fact that we really try to offer that personalized service to each one of the clients who comes in the door, whether it's your one-off real estate transaction for first-time home buyers or whether it's a repeat client, a large headlining client of ours who provides us many matters on a weekly or daily basis sometimes.
Right.
We're providing the same service to everybody who comes in the door, and I know that that's something the firm prides itself on.
Yeah.
And really one of the reasons why I chose to do my private practice at KI Legal. A little bit of background about me. Been practicing law for about 8 and almost 9 years at this point in time. Initially coming out of law school, I met my beautiful wife there. Her family has a real estate ownership and management company. Been in New York City for about more than 100 years at this point in time, which is incredible. And I got a incredible introduction to the real estate industry through working as first an associate general counsel, and then after 2 years at the business, stepping into the shoes of general counsel, and really allowed me to get a wide range of experience on numerous different issues and numerous different types of matters, both on the legal, compliance, and business side that affect business owners, not just in the real estate industry, but any business owner has to deal with issues like payroll compliance and taxing, payroll taxes, withholdings, and, various different issues that your average real estate owner operator may not even have the first instance of knowing that they have to deal with these issues when they're just operating their properties without being aware of the various compliance and legal related issues that surround, for instance, on a multifamily property. Hiring supers. I know this is something that we've spoken about previously, and a good introductory instance of how the types of practices we have here at KI Legal intersect with one another.
That's right.
In just being in compliance with the various labor laws and payment requirements and federal and state minimum wage and overtime standards. And I know that you've dealt with this for some clients, and it can be a bit of an intricate situation to deal with. And
well, especially as you mentioned, sorry to cut you off, but you mentioned building supers. We have clients that are property management companies, real estate companies, who are great at doing what they do, managing properties, buying and selling properties, renting properties. But as you said, when it comes to those wage and hour laws, you're going to come to Matt in the first instance to talk about your real estate deals, but Matt's going to hand you to me and my team when it comes to those wage and hour things. Building supers should be a whole podcast on itself because there are different. There's a federal standard of how, I'm talking about overtime. There's federal standard of how you pay supers. And then there's the New York State where they pay supers by the unit. However, a building has 20 units, it gets paid different than a building super in a building that has 50 units.
Right.
And it's very complicated because, and this is just a little inside baseball, but you have to actually comply with both. You have to pay them according to New York State, and you have to make sure you're complying with federal law. And we have many clients in this position, and we're able to guide them through this kind of minefield.
Right.
But and that's what we're really set up to do here, is a company comes in, no matter whether it's real estate or some other company. We represent a lot of companies in the hospitality space, construction space, small businesses, startups, and no matter which side they come into first, sometimes we'll see clients that are being sued or want to sue, and they'll come to us for an employment issue, let's say. But at the same time, we find out in the course of the representation, they're trying to buy some property. They want to buy out their lease. They want to buy this restaurant parcel. So they don't need to go to 10 different firms to deal with this. We actually handle that all in house, and we also have a trust and estates partner division. Our good friend Evan, who works with us. So we go beyond simply lawsuits in real estate. We actually can help protect our clients' assets.
Sure.
And that's really, every business owner wants to be able to sleep at night and know that their children are protected, their families are protected, their assets are protected from creditors, lawsuits, disgruntled customers, or any, there's a million different ways you can get in trouble here. But that's one of the advantages of this firm, I find.
Yeah, I think the example that you provided really does demonstrate how the various divisions at the firm interplay with one another. We're able to issue spot for a client, and if a client comes into litigation has enough of a sense of the real estate world, the real estate industry, and the legal issues that are encountered by a real estate owner-operator to say, I am here dealing with your employment issue. I'm here doing some contracts, service contracts, independent contractor agreements, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I noticed you mentioned something about possibly wanting, like you said, from the landlord, and
Right.
maybe
negotiating
Exactly.
terms. With the pandemic, we had obviously a lot of clients had to renegotiate their
Sure.
leases.
Sure, various different instances where the interplay comes up, and we can competently and quickly provide that client additional information that they may not have had going into it, and that another firm that's either incredibly specialized or is significantly bigger may not be able to do. On the bigger side, they may not just recognize the individual needs that the client may have beyond which is specifically brought to them and identified.
Right.
Because it's so big, there's so much going on, they can't give that client the intimate attention that we're able to give them here at KI, just because we're a smaller shop in that sense. We're not, a giant 500 attorney firm where a client can get lost in the shuffle.
And
they do all the time, where
Yeah.
you may not get a phone call back on a matter for months at a time.
Or if you get a phone call, there's 3 attorneys calling you. There's a partner, there's an associate, there's a law clerk, and now you're getting billed $1,200-$1,500 for this phone call when, it's really unnecessary most of the time, those kinds of fees. So, we pride ourselves on being able to provide quick service, efficient service, and we do, like you said, do that issue spotting. So, you come in with one issue, as you mentioned, we may see something that you don't, and we're going to ask you those questions so you actually say, I am thinking of doing this. I am thinking about my future and asset protection. I am thinking about, changing the structure of my organization. Right now,
Sure.
I'm a corporation. Maybe I want to do this. Maybe I want to do that. Maybe I want to make levels of corporations so I can protect my assets.
Liability barriers.
Yes. So I think we're very good at that. And it's one of the great, I think, selling points of the firm is that, we're not just for instance, like there are some firms that they're a PI firm, personal injury firm.
Right.
That's all they do.
Yep.
If their client has a labor issue or a real estate issue or a contract issue, you got to go to a different firm. You come to us, you're going to get a kind of holistic, if I could use that word, approach, and we're going to try to, see the numerous ways we can help you, not
Sure.
just in one way.
Sure, and just speaking about the corporate layering and spider webbing different corporate structures, kind of reminds me of the various different types of transactions that we handle at the firm. It's not just real estate. It goes beyond that, and we do your real estate purchases and sales, as I stated, commercial, residential, whether they're investment properties or somebody's, first home, or, they're buying a new home after selling their current. We also do various financing work with lenders. We have many relationships with lenders across the board who lend in various geographical locations, not just New York State, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New Jersey, and we also do the corporate work. As you mentioned, we do stock sales, sales of LLC membership interests. We do mergers and acquisitions work. We do spider webbing and asset protection on the corporate level of providing corporations, their principals, and directors and officers the most protection that you can under the law, and being able to provide those liability barriers and various levels of the corporation to be able to really offer the best protection that you can. And then we even do deals where businesses are purchased, whether it's the assets of a business or the business itself, with the goodwill, the name,
sale,
and the various other aspects that come with purchasing a business in and of itself. So we handle various different types of transactions, not just in the real estate space, although that is where I generally tend to specialize in the transactional work that I do. We do transactions across the board, and it's something that I know that we pride ourselves in, is not just being real estate attorneys. We're transactional attorneys, and we're also not just corporate attorneys. We can run the gamut of negotiations, whether it's a stock sale, an asset purchase and sale of a actual piece of real property, whatever it might be. And that goes from your development parcels of vacant land all the way up to the most recently developed condo, co-op, and multifamily properties in New York City and New York State. So I know, at least in the transactional division, we run the gamut in the type of representation that we provide. And I'm sure that in litigation, especially with labor and employment, there's many different categories of cases that you work on as well.
That's true. Well, I'll say this: you guys sound very busy.
Got a lot going on.
You guys sound really busy.
Got a lot going on.
So on the litigation side, Matt, you're right. We also run the gamut. We're not limited to labor and employment, although that's a big piece of our division. But we also do things like business divorce, shareholder disputes, even family businesses, unfortunately, have to part ways. The owners have to part ways for different reasons, varying reasons, good reasons, bad reasons. But, you need an attorney to guide you through this if you want to do it nice. Or if you want to do it nasty, we can do it nasty.
And sometimes those are the most contentious.
Yeah, absolutely. But they're always interesting. We really dive into the facts, and whether we're representing the corporation itself, or a majority member, or a minority member, or shareholder, they're all going to get the same very detailed analysis that we do. We really strategize and pride ourselves on thinking through every possible course of action, so we could tell our client, look, we went through everything. These are the 3 things we think are the best. And ultimately the client decides, look, they may disagree with us. They say, look, I don't want to spend $100,000 in litigation.
Sure.
Do it this way. And if it makes sense, we'll go that way. We obviously follow the client's wishes. But
in the end, we just advise. We can't
That's
force
what we do.
action in any way. We gotta
we
present the best outcomes that we think can be achieved.
You give your client options. You tell them the pros and cons of each. Maybe you recommend to, look, of all the 3 things I just laid out, maybe option 1 is the best based on what I know about you and your case. And it's up to the client to decide, and we always follow the client's wishes in that regard. But getting back to my division, labor and employment, we handle not only like wage and hour stuff, which is a big part of our practice because we represent a lot of hospitality, restaurants and things. But stuff like, we represent the business owners with executive compensation.
Okay.
With things like severance agreements, things like separation agreements for employees. It's very hard to terminate somebody nowadays. We can advise business owners on the best way to do that. And we also provide, in that realm, we provide all the employment compliance requirements that businesses need nowadays to fire somebody.
Sure.
That's how we work together. We all work together. We're all one team. And I think that's the best for the client. It really gives the client, I think, the best possible service.
And one of the amazing things about the firm is I know who I'm referring out matters like that too. I had the confidence to say to the client, I have a great labor and employment guy for you. Work with him, know him, know how he works, know how he thinks.
He sits 10 feet away from me.
He's an excellent attorney. Had lunch with him the other day. And I'm not passing it off to a division 3 floors up.
Right.
With some guy who I've never met before,
Right.
I've never spoken to, and my only commonality or interaction with him is just that we happen to work at the same place,
Right.
even though we've never seen one another, we've never spoken to one another.
Right.
I have no idea what his or her type of work ethic is, what type of work product they produce. Simply because that's the labor and employment attorney at the firm, I'm passing it off to this person, as opposed to knowing who I'm giving that recommendation for and who I'm passing that aspect of my client's matter off to, which makes me incredibly comfortable being able to do that.
It's huge because the clients sense when something is being pawned off on
Mhm.
someone, and they, on the opposite side, they sense when they're really going to be in good hands. For some reason, oversight, inadvertence is out of compliance. On what, look, there's so many laws to comply with. It's insane. But let's say, inadvertently they're out of compliance. It's not just put a Band-Aid on it. We want to help them comply and prevent this, like you said, from happening in the future.
So, Stephen, we've been talking a lot today about the interplay between the various divisions at KI and some of the instances in which we've seen those divisions work incredibly well together,
Right.
provide that value for our clients. Overall, I think it's really important for the average business owner,
Mhm.
client, whoever it might be walking in the door, to have that well-rounded firm that they can turn to, and whether it's for transactional, litigation, or even the general counsel services that we provide. I think it's incredibly important because, as you stated, there are so many laws out there. There are so many levels in which you need to comply. Being in Manhattan, as we are, you have New York City, you have New York State, you have the federal government, all those different layers, and within those layers, all the different regulations and laws that are present that a business owner or even your average person have to comply with. To have the level of knowledge and expertise that's diversified, as we do at KI Legal, I think is incredibly important. And I'm wondering, do you have maybe 1 or 2 points where you've really seen these are the trouble spots that your average business owner may have, and this is how we can provide them value coming in, whether it's a real estate guy, a restaurant owner? What are those situations that you've seen arise where we've provided them that incredible value and they've been able to utilize the different divisions that we have here?
A business owner can come with one issue and then they can come back with another issue, and they're a client. They
Sure.
trust us. They're a client, hopefully for life.
Right.
They're going to bring us everything. And the reason they do that and they trust us is because we provided them good service. It's as simple as that. We're a service company, a service organization. As lawyers, we serve our clients. If we provide bad service, the client gets up and walks away, just like any other business.
I think repeat clients are a testament
Yeah.
to the type of service that we provide and the value that a client can get from having a multidisciplinary firm that isn't too big and is able to provide them that boutique level of service that we're able to provide, and you'll really be intimately knowledgeable on the topics that we're advising them on, but also with their business, because we're not too big and we can get into the details, get our hands dirty with it. And that's even the partners, where in a lot of firms you don't have the partners really doing that day-to-day gritty legwork, and utilizing the knowledge that they have. A lot of it, as you said, getting pawned off on associates, paralegals, and law clerks. And it's just not how we operate here at KI.
Yeah.
We have everybody on the team really working on the individualized matters, and I think that provides an immense amount of value to clients, and it really allows us to round out their business, provide them the most compliance protection that we can on
Right.
the labor and employment side, or just the day-to-day operational aspects of their business, but also for your restaurant owner. Let's say they want to expand. Let's say they want to renegotiate a lease, and they came to us on an employment aspect, or wanted to be in compliance with the wage and hour or various minimum wage laws, especially in the city of New York.
Yeah.
Restaurant owners have had to deal with the minimum wage laws that have come out in New York recently. But allowing us to be able to say, hey, we can maybe renegotiate your lease for you, or we can look into negotiating a lease for your second location.
Right.
Because we were able to solve a wage and hour issue for them very cheaply, quickly, and efficiently, they're then able to expand their business out, and we can help them to do so by negotiating that new lease, finding that new space for them, and getting them operating on an even bigger basis than they were before they came to us. So I think that's where we really bring that value and are able to provide something to the client that they may not be able to get in their available price range, or even just with the size of the firm that they're comfortable with. So
I agree.